You do not leave this person without you don't leave, just get up and walk out. We do not do that. That's a no-no. All right, so our Bible verse, I liked the NIV. I read a couple of translations, but I really liked the NIV. Yes, I really liked the NIV the best. I thought it kind of um, was easier for me to understand. But remember, you can look at different versions. Anybody want to read it out loud? Take it, fish. Read it. It's good. Perfect. Perfect. Now, bear with each other. When I first saw bear, you know what popped in my mind? Yeah. But this is multi-meaning word, bear. This means put up with. When they're using bear like this, it means deal with it, put up with it. Like your little brother, your little sister, you have to bear with them. You got to deal with them. You got to put up with them. If somebody is just like ticking you off or annoying you, you have to bear with them. You have to deal with them, put up with them. Bear with me. Yes. If you're ever rotated back around to near lunchtime and you're in my room again near lunchtime, bear with me because I have a tendency to get hungry. Yes, ma'am? Oh, my brother just got me. Did you have to bear with him? He's like, I couldn't find my water bottle. And he was trying to place me with like my head. It was like that. And I was like, yes. Well, now that might not be the best way to bear with someone. Yes, ma'am. Oh, now don't do sweets because I'm just sweet as it is. But bear with each other, deal with each other, put up with each other because love covers multitude of sins. Yes. So you got to deal with somebody once. Don't have anything. You got to deal with those people the rest of your life. The rest of your life. Don't be prickly. We're going to talk about cactuses some this week. You know, cactus has prickles all over it. It's spines. Don't be prickly. Be smooth. Bear with somebody. So when someone bumps up to you and they're all prickly, don't be prickly back. Bear with each other. Forgive each other. A grievance is when you have a right to be mad at somebody. I'd say I didn't do anything to Ainsley. She came in and she took my favorite pencil and put it in her locker. All right, I would have a legal grievance against her. It's my right to be mad at her. But just because we have that freedom, we did a Bible verse last week, just because we have the freedom to be angry or I'm justified to be mad, choose a different route. You're going to learn how Christianity, religion for God being Christ-like, is upside down. It's almost opposite of what we think. Naturally, I would like to jump on her. But because I'm trying to be untamed by that feeling and to be controlled by God and emulate God, then I'm going to bear with her. So even if it's not your fault, even if you're justified in being mad, bear with each other. Forgive each other. And you know why? Who are we copycatting? God. And what did God do? He forgave us. There's where God, the Lord, forgave you. So I'm going to do my very best to forgive others. You'll hear me ask this question a lot. Is this easy? No. No, it is not. Will you get this right sometimes? Yes. Get it wrong a lot of times. Yes. Yes. So when I get it wrong, I go to God and ask forgiveness. And then I go to whoever I'm wrong with and ask forgiveness for them. And then I try harder next time. Ainsley, what you got? I'm sorry, Allie Grace, what you got? Choose to be that. That's exactly right. Wisdom is knowing the best choice. You got two choices. That's knowledge to know you got two choices. Or three. Wisdom is knowing which choice is the best choice. All All right. So take a minute. If you have not finished writing, go ahead and take a minute and write something for me. Kind of reflect. And you might want to make sure that you have your Chromebook open. And we're going to roll with our science today. So on your science, if you go to your classwork section, you're going to see week 2. And we've already got in the things that we're going to have for week 2. There's one thing missing that I have not added, and I'm going to add it just 1 second. You have your weekly assignment sheet. So very quickly, we're going to look at that weekly assignment sheet and see what we got coming up. Has anybody looked at theirs? So as you notice, there's something in bright. You're going to have a quiz Friday. Now, last week we did a quiz on lessons 1 and 2. This week we're going to do a quiz on lessons 1 through 7. So it may be some of the things that we already quizzed on, and it's going to be very, very, very similar to last week's quiz. Only difference is this week I'm going to add some true and false. So you'll read it, and if it's true, you mark true. If it's false, you mark false. But it's very, very similar. We're getting close to finishing this chapter. Next week, let's see if I put that on there. Yes, at the bottom, chapter 1 test next week. And it will include everything in chapter 1, everything in your notebook. So it's like walking in mud. You get bogged down sometimes. So every night, go back and read just a little. Don't make it a big thing. Don't spend 30 minutes, but just read your book out loud. Yes, sir?
Is Flow going to be on there still?
Yes. Yes. Phloem will be on there. The word xylem will be on there. Some of our new words will be on there. But we'll see. I'm 90% sure it is. I said that too soon. I think I remember putting it on there. All righty. So next thing I notice, oops, I already have your quiz. Now yours won't show up. Mine shows up gray. That just means it's sitting there ready. So if you see it like that, grayed on mine, and if you look on the side on mine, it says draft. That means it's in progress. I have not dropped it into your section. So if you see something up there that says draft or something in gray on the board, that's because I have it, but you don't. I don't want you to have that test yet. Yes, sir?
But it's not something complete.
No, it doesn't. This is chapter 1, lessons 1 through 6. Yeah. So if you look in your book, it'll tell you at the top, lesson 3. Tell you at the top. And also, just as a reminder, the chapter is so long that it won't all scan through, so I have to divide it into 2 parts. We're still going to be on part 1. So when you click on that, and if you get to reading and it stops, that's not the end. Have you ever watched a movie that says to be continued?
Yes.
You're in the middle of something that's to be continued.
It's always like the good part.
It's the good part. That's called a cliffhanger because it leaves you hanging on a cliff. It's a cliffhanger. Dun, dun, dun. That's right. Stay tuned to find out if Allie Grace will. Whatever it's going to be. All right. So in your book, as you're reading along, your lessons are going to be found at the top. So lesson 1, that might be something I want to review. All the way to lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, lesson 5, and lesson 6. That's where we'll stop for this week. Yes, sir? Yes, sir. You may. All righty. There's one thing that is missing. Do y'all know one thing that's missing? What do I usually have up there? No. What do we do every? Kinda.
Oh, the study note.
The study notes. That's exactly right. So our study notes. So I'm gonna put those study notes up there,
And I will add that onto our Google Classroom today so that you'll have those notes. Okay? You remember, left side, you're writing your little notes, you're using your dot between. Right side, we make magic. We weave that into beautiful sentences with capital letters and punctuations. All right, so whether you're using your computer or you're using your book, would you turn to page 18, please? And that is lesson 3. Get your notebook ready. Sir? Ma'am? Ma'am? Okay. Now, on your study notes, remember left side, I need you to write pages. Oh, that's not pretty. I don't want to do that. Let's do it this way. There we go. Pages, and we're starting on page 18, dash, and then we'll hold off. My plan is to get all the way through page 22, I believe. But just in case, let's wait and see how far we get, and that way we'll know what page to put. Ainsley, yes, ma'am? Close that and go get a science book. And hustle up because your notebook's not ready and we're holding up. Okay? All right. Page 18. So we're going to start on page 18. Holy smokehouse. I see some words on the side. Y'all see those words over there? Maybe. All right. Reader for the beginning, start with leaves. Mr. Gray. Beautiful. When Gray was reading, I was following with my eyes. I noticed the word energy was italicized. So that kind of brought attention to me. So energy. So I'm not going to use it as a definition because I believe we understand energy, but it's going to be something important. And it said when Gray's hungry, he goes to the kitchen and gets a snack. When our plants are hungry, do they go to the kitchen to get a snack?
No, they get
No.
nutrients out of the ground and sunlight.
There you go, Bryce. Beautiful. So we're going to learn about how they get their nutrients. It sure isn't at the grocery store, and it's sure not in the pantry or the kitchen. Gray, pick a girl. All right, Caroline, would you start down there where it says number 1? It's underneath function of leaves. Yes.
Is the process of plants making food using energy from the sun, carbon dioxide, and water. The code means life. The word synthesis means putting together. Choose light. Plants use light to put the food together. We have internal and external leaf structures that help with photosynthesis. These leaf structures are the
Chloroplast,
chloroplast,
stomata, xylem,
xylem, and
phloem. Excellent. Man. Okay, take a second. Max, hold your head up. Just 1 second. Did you hear when she was reading? She said they have internal and external structures. Did y'all hear her say that one? Where did we learn about internal,
last week.
external
Last week.
structures?
Last week.
What does it mean to be an internal structure?
It's inside.
Yeah, it's inside. It's this thing that builds up the inside. An external structure? Outside. We learned that last week, so now we're using it this week. Ainsley, be careful. So when you're learning, Blanton, watch this thing. When you're learning, you learn this to know this. And when you learn this, it helps you understand this. Has anybody ever learned their multiplication facts? Does that come in handy when you're using division?
Yes.
Yes, it does. If I don't know my multiplication facts, is it easy to divide? It's hard. It's hard. What about your addition? Oh, wait, your subtraction. Do you use Subtraction and division. Yeah. This will go into that. That many times this is this subtraction from that. Yeah. If you don't know the basics, it's hard to know the advanced. So that's why we go in order. That's why learning is in order. That's why God is a creator of order, not chaos. Because it would be hard if I came in here and I just started talking about internal structures and you're like, wait, what? When I had not taught you internal structures. Same thing with math. You walk into Miss Tatum's room, you've never had multiplication, division, adding, or subtracting. Oh, better yet, think about first grade. You walk in first grade, your first day of first grade, and the teacher expects you to know how to divide. Haven't even learned how to add, subtract, or multiply. Now I gotta know how to divide. God is a God of order. He didn't make animals before he made the plants, right? He did things in order. He knew they needed plants so the animals would have something to eat. So he built things in order. So same thing with us in our learning, we got to go in order. So what we learned this week may be something that we're going to build on to next week. I thought that was pretty cool. The word photo. What did it say photo meant?
Oxygen.
Light. And synthesis, what does synthesis mean?
Oxygen.
Well, let's look back here. It says the word synthesis means putting together. Now, I know photosynthesis is going to be a big word that we need to have. So, guess what we're about to do? Yeah, we are. All right. So, our first one, use your colored pencil, make a dot, and we're going to write photosynthesis, made up of two words, photo and synthesis, meaning light and putting things together. So, photosynthesis, and I'm not going to say is the, because I'm going to write short. Photosynthesis equals process of plants let's just say sun. And I'm going to use the little and sign to mean and. So photosynthesis is the process of plants making food using energy from sun, carbon dioxide, and water. And when they put all of that together, it's photosynthesizing. So right now, our plants in the window, especially, are busy. You can't see it because it's an internal structure, but they're capturing the sunlight in the leaf, and they're using carbon dioxide, that's the air that we breathe out, and water, working a little bit of magic into their little cells inside, and then they're making energy for that plant. They're making their food. And then it uses the phloem, and it carries the phloem or the tubes that are going to carry that energy it just made all over the body. So if Gray came to school this morning and he had made cookies, Gray has his cookies, and he's going to carry cookies all over the classroom, all the way, maybe even all over fourth grade, delivering. And that's what the phloem is doing. It's carrying, it's a tube, and it's carrying all that energy that we just created. And that is photosynthesis. And last week, one day, I turned our plant around because you see how the leaves are facing toward the sun, this one? They're reaching toward that sun. This is the bottom. Oh, did y'all see water just drip off? This one is really good to show that. That's coming later. But our leaves are trying to turn toward the sun so that it can capture more sunlight so it can make more food. So it will be hungry. So that guy's missing. I guess that plant's a hungry plant. At the end of the day today, I'm going to turn it around like this, and see these that are facing us, and we'll see what they're doing tomorrow. That one that's kind of brown there. Oh, he just fell off. All right. So right now he is busy photosynthesizing. All righty, that was read by Claire. Claire, would you pick a boy for us to read 19? Caroline, what did I say? Claire, I'm so sorry. Caroline, looking right at you. Pick a boy.
Capture sunlight in the leaves.
Perfect. Every plant is not the same. You can see that with your eyes. Some plants need more sun, and some plants need less sun. Sometimes, if you have a shade loving plant and you put it in the sun, the leaves are going to scorch looking and they're going to eventually die. Yes, sir? Like a fern. Exactly right. You wouldn't put a fern right out in the middle of the sun because it won't be happy and it will eventually die. Yes, ma'am? Yeah, yeah. This plant right here, when I first bought this plant, I set it over. It was last year, and I put it over there on that green cart behind Mr. Cobb, and it was okay, but it wasn't doing really good. It just was sitting there, wasn't growing. And then I didn't think about it, the amount of sun it was getting over there, because I thought it was good, but it just wasn't really growing. It wasn't dying. It was just kind of like there. And then one day I cleaned this, and I had to rearrange some plants, and I put it down here, and I noticed that it just went boom, and it started growing big. Sun that it was getting. The plants that these cuttings came off of, these are called sun coleus. Now, coleus generally wants the shade, but they have a botanist has worked and created a coleus that can take more sun. And so these, they don't really thrive in the sun, they tolerate the sun. They'll do okay in the shade, they're kind of halfway. But I have them planted in half shade, half sun. So in the morning time, they get shade, 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 shade. And then in the evening, they get sun. Is in the evening, it's really strong. And the plants are like this all morning. And then when that harsh sun gets on them, they kind of fall asleep. And then the next morning, so they're tolerating it, but they're not just in love with the sun. All right, that was read by Peyton. Peyton, pick a girl to read number 3.
Generally, the sunlight is absorbed or taken in the
By
by
chloroplast.
chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are tiny internal structures
Oh. Did she just say internal structures? She did. Okay, keep going.
found in the leaf. Could say
Chloroplast.
chloroplasts are tiny pigeons in a plant. This is where the food is made. Photosynthesis happens
She bless you.
once inside the chloroplast and some in the plant life.
Chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll is chlor-
Okay, so we've got 2 words that sound similar, and I know they're important because they're new to me. We had chloroplast and chlorophyll. So let's go back up to chloroplast, and we're going to add a study dot. Chloroplast. And our book says chloroplast are tiny internal structures. Now, time out. If it's inside a plant, isn't it already going to be tiny? I can't see it, so do I need to say tiny? Because common sense tells me if it's inside the leaf, it's going to be tiny. So I'm going to omit tiny. I'm just going to say internal structures found in leaves. So chloroplasts is going to be tiny. They're internal structures found in leaves. So all leaves, whether they are long and skinny like these, whether they're round and thick like that, whether they're soft and feathery, whether there's a lot of them, whether they're weird looking, no matter what, they have at least one thing in common. They have chloroplast inside them. Chloroplast is where the food is made. It's internal structures found inside the leaves, and it's kind of like the book says in the kitchen. So you know what? I may want to add the word kitchen because that kind of is a clue. So it's kind of like the kitchen part. That's where all the energy is being made. Now, chlorophyll, this is cool now. Chlorophyll is the green coloring inside the chloroplast. So you got to use your brain here. Picture a leaf. And you know, Magic School Bus, Miss Fizzle always takes them on a wild, crazy field trip, and they go inside things. Okay, so here we are. We're going inside a leaf. And inside the leaf, we're seeing all the chloroplasts, little kitchens working away. Now go inside one of those kitchens. The green coloring is chlorophyll. You wonder why leaves are green? Chlorophyll. So this leaf compared to this one, which one do you think has more chlorophyll? This one? You're right. More, because it's greener. It has more chlorophyll. So chlorophyll, let's go ahead and write that one. Chlorophyll, green coloring inside chloroplast. Yeah, exactly, Bryce. Good thinking. It has to be even smaller. And chloroplast is, oh, there you go. There you go. Good job, Bryce. Fantastic. I love that. Very, very, very good at owning that. So chlorophyll is that green coloring inside the chloroplast. And it's using all that energy working together. The kitchen's going. Oh, I smell energy. I wonder what plant energy tastes like. I'm smelling that energy. All righty. And that was read by Claire. Claire, pick a boy for me, please. And we're already at number 4. Maxaroo. Stomata. We're going to talk about stomata in just a minute. Okay, so plants, we talked about at the beginning. For photosynthesis, they use light, they use carbon dioxide, and what else do they use? Water. They use those 3 things. Now, we just talked about the light, that's from the sun. Now, the next step that they use is the gas. It's called carbon dioxide. All right, so let's write carbon. Oh, I really don't want to put that there. Let's go back and make it there. That'll work. All right, so carbon dioxide is gas in air we breathe out. So if you take a deep breath, we hopefully will gasp in oxygen. If we don't, we're in trouble and we'll turn blue and we'll eventually die. So we breathe in oxygen. Now I'm breathing in oxygen, and when I breathe out, it's carbon dioxide. I'm taking in oxygen and other air, other gases, but mainly oxygen, and carbon dioxide is leaving the body. Carbon dioxide is not healthy for our body, so it's removed from your body. Now, is God amazing? Plants are good partners with me because they got something I need. I got something they need.
They produce oxygen. They take in the carbon dioxide and produce oxygen, like trees.
Exactly. They're going to take my bad breath, my oxygen when I breathe out. I'm sorry, my carbon dioxide when I breathe out. They're happy. Ooh, carbon dioxide, yum. And they take that carbon dioxide and they use it. And one of the things they release or they get rid of, like we get rid of carbon dioxide, they get rid of oxygen. So we're kind of opposites. Yes.
We're feeding the plants.
And then the plants are in turn,
We're feeding. They're feeding.
because if you go underwater, there's very, 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 very little oxygen underwater. Can you breathe? No. That's why you hold your breath. Or you use a because you gotta have oxygen. Has anybody ever gone hiking up high in the mountain and kind of get lightheaded and get headache or anything like that? The oxygen is thinner in the mountains. There's less oxygen the further you go up. Yes, sir.
If we're in Colorado, we've got like Earth oxygen.
Perfect. Perfect. You gotta have that oxygen because you begin to lose consciousness without it. You may get a headache. You get drowsy. You kind of slip off into a bad death. You gotta have oxygen. You got to have oxygen. Oh, gotta have it. And it just so happens that it works out who's in control of just so happens. So I breathe out. Yay, they're happy. They, oh, can y'all see that little drip of water right there? Talk about that after a while. They take out oxygen. Oxygen. I love oxygen. It tastes yummy. Does it have a taste? No. It just gives me life. It just gives me life. All righty. So, who was the one that read that? Max. Okay. Now, we're going to move over into stomata. All right, Max, you ready? No, no, pick a girl. Pick a girl. I mean, stomata.
They take in carbon dioxide from the air. They also let out oxygen. They are very tiny things.
So we're all talking tiny, right? We're talking tiny. Now, if you ever turn over a leaf, because these are located on the underside of the leaf, and you see something on the underside of the leaf, that's not what we're talking about. That's something else. So maybe a little bug, it may be a little pest, or maybe dirt or something. These are tiny and you can't see it. So located, let's go ahead and put our word, stomata. And where is it located? Underneath the leaf. It's located under the underside of the leaf. Take in. Sir? Yeah, I know. It popped up for me. So it takes in carbon dioxide, releases oxygen. Do you understand how that plants can be a very important part of life on Earth? Life on Earth would be very, very, very rough if we didn't have plants. So plants are a huge, important part of the world. Gotta have them. And then we're going to turn the page and we're going to look at step 6. God is a God of order, not a God of chaos. He thinks things ahead. What if he just made the animals first?
Because if they wouldn't have no oxygen.
They wouldn't have oxygen and they wouldn't have things to eat. That's exactly right. Isn't that amazing to think God knew all that in advance? Sometimes I do things I learn by trial and error. I try, it didn't work. I try again, it didn't work. I keep trying until it works. God doesn't learn by trial and error. God knows all the answers before he even tries. All right, so a plant, for photosynthesis to occur, we've said it takes sunlight for the energy, right? Goes into the chloroplast, makes the chlorophyll, and it also takes in something that I let off, carbon dioxide. What was that third thing that plants need? The third thing they need, water. So number 6. Who read that last part? Adeline. Adeline, pick a boy for us for number 6, please. Bryce.
Also need water to complete the photosynthesis. Do you remember how xylem transports water to the nutrients inside the plant? The xylem brings water from the water helps to plant make.
It helps the plant. All right. So quickly, stand up just a minute. We got to do a little bit of wiggle. All right, xylem. Put your hands down on your feet where the roots would be. Roots are at the end of the stem. The letter X is toward the end of the alphabet. All right, now we got to do a little shimmy and a wiggle. So the xylem are the little tubes, just like a sonic straw. All right, let's wiggle. Travel up the xylem. And so you're taking the water to the parts of the plants. Okay, thanks. See, I knew you needed to stretch. The xylem comes from the end of the stem where the roots are. Z, xylem, X, and it goes all the way out. Water is important. Water comes through the leaves, through the xylem, and also traveling with the water and nutrients from the soil. So if you sprinkle a little fertilizer and it melts into the soil, guess what's going up the xylem now? The fertilizer. That's exactly right. All right. That's right. Good soil. Decomposing. Okay. Yep. All right. Pick a girl for us, Mr. Bryce, for number 7. Lila, number 7.
A plant needs energy from the sun, carbon dioxide, and water to complete photosynthesis. Energy from the sun changes water and carbon dioxide into sugar and oxygen.
Okay. So take one hand here. This is what's taken in. And let's make this one a fist. So over here, I need, if I'm a plant, I need, tell me the 3 things I need. Water, air,
and oxygen.
now what kind of air? What is this? Carbon dioxide,
And
sun. So I think sun, I think carbon dioxide, and I think water. It takes all of this and it makes energy and it gets rid of what do I like? Oxygen. And would you pick a boy? We're going to find out something else it might let go of. Fisher, section 8. So, has anybody ever used Uber Eats? You know, they are like DoorDash. They come and bring you food, right? Gray made cookies, and Gray's going to deliver those cookies to everybody. That's the flow. The flow is the delivery system. It takes that food that's been made in those yummy, yummy leaves, and it delivers it to the rest of the plant that's hungry.
It's like the blood pumping through your body.
It's like if the needs blood pumping through. All right, hold on. Now, Fisher, that was you, right? Pick a girl. Allie Grace. All right, now start one more time. I want to go from the beginning and go real loud. This is important. hold on, think about that. It doesn't need all the oxygen it takes in. Huh, keep going.
Their
Stomata.
stomata during the day. Oxygen is released or let out of the stomata. A small amount of water is also released from the stomata. This is a way for the tree to cool down when it is hot.
You're actually getting to see this. This plant right over here is releasing a little driplet of water. Men, can y'all see from over there? Probably not. Come on, get over here. Now don't bump it because it'll drip off and everybody else can see it. That is a drip of water that the stomata is releasing. So, you're actually seeing it. This plant randomly, most plants not so much, but this plant takes in more than it needs and it's releasing the water. Can y'all see it okay? So that is pretty cool. You are actually seeing what you're reading in action happening now. Yes, ma'am?
So the plant is
Kind of sweating because what happens when we sweat? Why do we sweat?
because the sun's hitting on us.
But what if it just plain your body would overheat? Sweat, did y'all know that sweat cools you down?
Because
If you don't
water gets
sweat,
cold.
your body will get to a temperature that's too high, like you have fever, and it will damage your body. So as your body is hotter, your sweat starts to cool you down.
That's why I sweat.
And so that's kind of like what's happening here. It's kind of like he's sweating. He has taken in more outside than he needs, and he's going to release. And most of those release if they open their stomach. Where's the stomach? Underside. And that's why it's coming down here. Why do you think it's at the very, very tip right there?
Because that's where it can drop.
That's where it's dropping. That's the lowest point. Water's going to drop from the lowest point. So it's running down. It's collecting, and it's running. Isn't that the coolest thing? All right, take a seat. Let's look at that again. So in our book, I love that our science book goes right along with our plants. So the plant doesn't need all the oxygen it makes. So this plant made a lot of oxygen. It needs some for itself, but it has extra, kind of like leftovers. Okay, I made lunch yesterday and I had leftovers, and I don't need that part. So it makes the oxygen for itself, and then with the leftovers, most plants open their stomata during the day, and the oxygen is released or let out, and then sometimes a little bit of water is let out. Now this plant right here is weird. You can tell it's totally different. It doesn't open up in the daytime. Guess what it opens up? At night. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This one that it opens up at night. These open up in the daytime underneath the underside, and it lets out. So let's add plants make extra. And release, we don't want to put carbon dioxide, and release from stomata. Also release water. Ding. Yes, my love.
Next week, are we going to do more
Yep. Let's stay where we are. Now, this is all the notes that we're going to do for today. So we need to work on making some groovy sentences. Yes, sir?
Is the one that we just did a sentence or
No, we're all on our notes. Left side notes, and then the right side will be our sentences. So we've written all of ours on the left-hand side of your book, and you put your little dots between. It keeps it from being all over a jumper by putting those little dots between. Now, there's one thing that we need to do. Remember, we said we were going to put the page number where we get to, so we'll know where we stop. What page are we going to put? 20, because we haven't done 21 yet. I'm going to slide back up just a second. And we're going to put 20 right here so that we know that we made it to page 20. What?
It moves around like an elf.
Like an elf on the shelf? Yeah, kind of. Yes, sir?
So, like, the flow, it goes to the leaves.
Yeah, the phloem comes from the leaves.
Oh.
The leaves are the kitchen, right? And then that's gray cooking. And then the phloem takes all that food and takes it to the other parts of the plant, like the stem, like the roots. The roots need nutrients. They're getting it, but they haven't turned it into anything. They're collecting it. They're grocery shopping, going into the kitchen, making it all, and then the phloem sends the finished product all over the plant. Yes, ma'am? Okay, that's all we're going to read right now. Now we're going to make sentences. Yes, ma'am? It hasn't got heavy enough. When it collects a little bit more, then it'll drop. It's not heavy enough yet. So I'm hoping it kind of stays there a little while so the next class can see. That's why I didn't want us to bump it. This morning when I moved, one of them dripped on me from another one. I shook it, and that's like, oh, I know what we need to do with that. All right, so let's take a look at our first sentence. Okay, let's hold off on that right now. Well, let's say chloroplasts. Um, chloroplast, and then we'll say comma, internal structures found in leaves may help make energy using photosynthesis. I don't know. That's kind of backwards. Anybody else have another idea? Photosynthesis makes energy. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's do it like this. Not right now. Hold on. All right. So this is sentences. So we're on the other side, right? Right. Okay. Photosynthesis. So we're going to say photosynthesis occurs. This is on the other side of the page. Okay, you're on the right hand side now. So go to your right. There you go. And not your colored pencil. There you go. Use your writing pencil. What is the byproduct that we get out, that we let go of? There we go. So you could kind of already go ahead and tell somebody how photosynthesis occurs just from our lesson today. There are three things that the leaves need in the chloroplast. And when they get all three of those things, their needs are met, they will make energy for the plant. And it's sent through the phloem, goes through the phloem to the other parts of the plant. Oh, can y'all, that's not good for y'all, is it? Let's do it like this. I don't want to mess you up. And that will be the end. Pretty cool. And that, my lovies, is photosynthesis. It's crazy to think all that's going on in a leaf, in just a little tiny leaf. So we're talking about things that are teeny. When you're finished with that, you'll be able to move that aside. Don't put your science book up if you have one on your table because the next class will need it. And make sure that you have your English packet out for me. And this afternoon, when we get ready for lunch, we come back for lunch, going to recess, we are going to put this plastic bag, we're going to take it outside and put it on a leaf, wrap it around on a leaf, and see if we can find out what happens inside. See if we can catch some of the moisture. We already we got to see it actually happening in real time by leaf. Isn't that cool? But we'll see if we can capture some in the bag too. We'll find a tree outside. Yes, sir? Not right now. Let's save our story for later, okay? I want to hear it, but we got to really get our schoolwork done. All right, it is time for us to move on to English. Is there anybody not done? Okay. Okay. Supersonic quickly. And the rest of us, just lay your science book to the side. Make sure you have your English packet out. And we're going to be in our English packet on page 99, Monkey Shine. And I will put these on your Google Classroom so that you'll have this in case you want to look at it tonight. Yes, you may now. Good thinking. Okay, are we ready? Okay, go quickly, go quickly, go quickly. Page 9 in your packet. And Bryce, while we're waiting, I'm going to let you go ahead and hand out our homework so we'll have that part done. They want on everybody's table, okay? If you've finished and you're waiting, that might not be enough. Come back if it's not enough. If you're finished, you're waiting, put your highlighter on that so that you'll know that's going to be homework tonight. Yes, sir? Make it snappy because that's our one, but hurry, hurry, hurry. Make it snappy. It's a good time between. Right? Is anybody? All right, Pumpkin, I'm going to have to stop it. Go, 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 go. That's not enough, is it? I didn't think it was. All right, Glenn, you ready? All right, I do need to stop because we don't have enough time for our English. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and then